Have you ever said to yourself, when I finish the website, then I'm going to email those people? Or when I finish my messaging, I'm going to start posting. Or when I feel more confident, I'm going to start putting offers in front of people. If you've said this to yourself, you're not alone. We've all said this to ourselves at one point or another. But here's the thing. It is a trap. This is called the when I, then I trap because what can happen is when the win part can take a lot longer than we expected, and the win part may not even be necessary in the first place. And while you are trying to work toward the place of done with the when I thing, whether it's like the website or the messaging or whatever it is, you are losing momentum. You're losing leads. You're losing money. Okay, so let's address this when I, then I trap and talk about how done factors into the business, factors into messaging and marketing. So my name is Lisa Mullis, and I am a brand messaging specialist, a marketing strategist, and business advisor for service-based professionals to help them figure out how do I talk about the stuff that I'm doing in a way that people are like, yes, I'm ready to hire you. And how do we put marketing systems in place that are sustainable so marketing continues to keep going when you get busy? Okay, so here's the truth that you don't even need to get to done to move forward in your business. In fact, this idea of done is a total myth because when it comes to messaging and marketing, there is never a done point with that. It's an iterative process. You do messaging and you refine messaging and optimize messaging in response to what's going on in marketing, and vice versa. You do marketing in response to what you're learning. And so it's an iterative process. And I would say there's a lot of those in business. And if you've been in business for a while, you know your to-do list is never done. So just like we need to reframe what done even is in business. So before we do that, let's talk about why when I, then I happens in the first place so that you can recognize when you might be falling into that trap. And then I'm going to give you some things to think about how to pull yourself out if you're in that when I, then I rationale. Okay, so first of all, it's because we are taught to value completion over iteration. So think about it. Even as young kids, we're taught growing up, like finish the food on your plate, finish your homework, finish your chores, so there's a lot of value placed on completion of things. And we don't have necessarily a lot of practice with iteration. So that's one reason. Then secondly is we mistake the fixing for progress. So if I'm just going to tweak my website, I'm going to work some more, I'm going to put some more stuff together on my proposal or whatever it is, right? The thing, and we think that that is making movement. But in reality, a lot of those things are not. Consider how often you are doing this when I, then I, and those activities are not actually taking you closer to clients, closer to making offers. We also do this because we attach this concept or this feeling of safety with being ready. And so done comes with ready, right? Like oftentimes done, there's a sense of relief. Okay, I'm ready now for the next thing. And ready feels like calm. It can feel confident. And that's a great place to be. Like we want that. Safety is a good thing. Like when we feel safe, we feel calm, we feel confident, we feel clear, and we want that, right? We want to feel those things when we're putting ourselves out there, but we have to, we basically have to get comfortable with not being ready, with getting to points of readiness as opposed to points of doneness, of getting to done. Okay, and then we also think that done has to happen before we can start anything, which is almost ironic, right? That we put done in front of the thing that we should start. So I'm going to give you a tip around that in just a minute. And we also do this because we think that it's better to get it done. That will make a better first impression, that will get closer to the sale, that will close the sale, if it's done versus if I'm going to put something out there that's in progress. Okay. But here's the thing to keep in mind when it comes to messaging and marketing. They are not things that you complete. It's impossible to complete them. Rather, think about them as things that you practice. Okay. So practice over getting to done. All right. So the reason why we want to get out of the when I then I trap, that rationale that we can find ourselves in, is because there are some real costs to that, right? I mentioned earlier momentum, leads, money, and it's very easy to be in these long cycles of win, right? The thing that we're trying to do in the win part can often take way longer than we think. So that just pushes everything out, right? That creates unnecessary delays. You can also, now I wouldn't say trick yourself, but maybe that's the word I'll use for the moment, is you can trick yourself into staying in that preparation loop because it feels safe, because you convinced yourself that you're not ready, because it's not good enough. It needs more information, it needs more tweaking, all the things, and you can just stay in that loop. And that leads us back into my point earlier about just, wasting unnecessary time tweaking things that don't need to be tweaked. What if it were just good enough the first go at it? This also can lead to a loss of confidence, which is vitally important in business. In any business, you have to have the confidence to be in, to show up every day, to show up in front of people, to make those offers and close the deals and deliver the work, and all of that stuff requires a lot of confidence and courage, and you can lose that pretty quickly if you stay stuck in that when I then I. If you are constantly looking toward getting to this finish line of done, then that comes at that real cost of confidence, and along with that is momentum. And I would argue that losing momentum is even more costly than losing clients, because we can get more clients when we're in momentum, but sometimes getting into momentum or getting back into momentum can be really, really difficult, right? It's like a flywheel. The flywheel is often hardest at the beginning to get it until it's got the momentum to carry it through. And that momentum is what does carry you through more challenging times and just keeps everything going, right? So momentum is vitally important. So here's the thing I want you to think about with this is the businesses that grow aren't the ones with the most finished projects. They're the ones with the most shipped projects. Now, shipped, in case you're not familiar with this term in this context, by shipped we mean published, we mean emailed, sent, put in front of someone, verbalized in a public setting, declared. It's out there in the public purview, and that's shipped. Okay, so the businesses that grow aren't the ones with the most finished projects, they're the ones with the most shipped projects. And shipped can be perfectly good shipping stuff that is seemingly unfinished. Okay, so that's what I want to give you next, is some tips on how to break this cycle, how to get out of the trap of the when I then I. First of all, we have to rewire our brain for what done really means. And I'm going to give you 2 words to add to done. 2 words, and that is done for now. Okay, so the 2 words we're adding to done is for now. Done. And another 2 words you can add to done is done good enough. Done good enough, or it's good enough. What you come up with your own combo. For now, it's done good enough. This is the idea that I am done my best with the information that I have at this point in time, knowing you can always go back and fix it later or optimize it, refine it later, right? That's the whole purpose of being in motion and recognizing that so much of what we're doing in business, even beyond messaging and marketing, is an iterative process. And nobody has it all figured out coming out of the gates before it gets shipped. Nobody knows it until you are actively working with it out there with the other people that you are in conversation with and working with. Okay, so you can practice by just, anytime it comes up that something has come up that you're working on and you're thinking like, well, when I do this, I'll do that. Just say, is it good enough? Is it good enough for now? And you might be surprised how often the answer is, yeah, it's good enough for now. Or have somebody else tell you that and just trust them and take their word for it. Okay, then the second thing we're going to do is flip the when I then I statement. So instead of the when, let's say when I X, then I will Y, we're going to do I'm going to Y and then I'll figure out X. So for example, when I get my messaging perfect or finished, then I will start posting stuff. Instead, we're going to flip that and say, I'm going to start posting and I will just kind of work out my messaging while I'm doing that in response to what's happening out there, right? It's alive and in action, it's shipped, and I get to then have some good data to help me refine that. Okay, here's another example. When I finish my website, then I'll promote my offer. I'll start promoting my offer while my website is getting finished or getting to a place of done for now, right? We're going to practice eradicating even the word finished. Done for now. Okay, so try that again next time you find yourself saying, okay, when I do, then I will do this. When you're doing the when I, then I, try flipping it. Try flipping it. Okay, and then we're going to just practice the taking action before fixing. So if you catch yourself where you're like, okay, I'm back in this document again for the 10th time, or I'm back on my website for the 100th time, tweaking this thing, pause and ask yourself, have I taken action on this, on the then I piece? Right? So going back to our examples, if it's like, I'm going to finish the website before I make the offer, ask yourself, have I made the offer first in any form of that? Have I made the offer? Then I can go back and fix the website. So that's going to take some practice. And that's just moving away from this idea of done and perfection and just realizing you can do it messy and you can do it in progress, right? The whole purpose is to keep moving forward, Okay, so just to kind of like close this out on a little bit of a pep talk, nobody has this stuff figured out before they get it out the door. Nobody, because you just can't. You can't know. So therefore, just realize that done is a myth. It's pointless to try and pursue that. So go for done for now. You know enough. So get out there and put out your stuff. You have the opportunity to go back later and address it, fix it, make it better, refine it, align it, like all of that good stuff. And this will keep you in momentum, which is the key thing here around all of this, is just staying momentum. Momentum will carry the day. Literally, it will carry the day. So this will help you stay in momentum. All right. If you would like some help with this, if you find yourself in these when I then I cycles, in the trap of the when I then I, please reach out to me. I'm happy to, whether it's to share a resource or a tip or bring you into a conversation around that. Let's keep you in momentum, okay? Secondly, if you got something out of what I shared today, then please drop that in the comments and let me know what was your key takeaway. You can also let me know what's worked for you to move yourself out of the when I then I. You know, those helpful comments can be really helpful for others as well to keep us all in motion and momentum. All right, thank you so much for catching me on this video, and I look forward to catching you in the next one. See you soon. Bye-bye.